Economy.Adewunmi calls President Tinubu's food imports policy depressing. He said Nigeria cannot rely on food imports to stabilize prices, and resorting to it could destroy the country's agricultural policy. Welcome to the news. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Economy.Adewunmi, the African Development Bank president, has faulted the approval of duty-free imports and described the policy as dispersing. Adewunmi stated this during the Council of Anglican Province of Africa retreat held in Abuja, where he spoke on the theme Food Security and Financial Sustainability in Africa. He said, according to him, Nigeria cannot rely on food imports to stabilize prices, and resorting to it could destroy the country's agricultural policy. He explained that the country should be producing food to keep prices stable and reduce pressure on the foreign exchange front while creating jobs. Well, all the areas that we know have the capacity to give us food in this nation, there are crises here and there. If no banditry, kidnapping, if it is not kidnapping, terrorism here and there, preventing the farmers, Fulani, farmers crisis, all these have not been addressed. Maybe this should be addressed before we start talking of how to undo this food matter. Well, Adesina said Nigeria recently announced policy to open its borders for massive food imports just to tackle short-term food price hike is depressing. Nigeria cannot rely on importation of food to stabilize prices. Nigeria should be producing more food to stabilize food prices while creating jobs and reducing foreign exchange pending, which will further help stabilize the naira. Nigeria cannot import its way out of food insecurity. Nigeria must not be turned into a food import-dependent nation. We have a lot of states that we can call food basket. Name them. Benue is there, Taraba is there, and other states in this country. But what is the government doing to make sure there's enabling environment, to make sure that farmers go to the farm, and at the end of the day, they're able to harvest their crops without any interference from anybody or without any crisis in those locations? We must begin to look for a solution now before the thing gets out of hand. Dr. Adesina noted that Africa constitutes nearly a third of the over 780 million people worldwide who are hungry. The African Development Bank president emphasized the critical role of agriculture in diversifying economies and transforming rural areas where more than 70% of Africa's population resides. It is clear, therefore, that unless we transform agriculture, Africa cannot eliminate poverty, he insisted. How can we transform when we are still planting using old method, where a lot of nations in the world have gone mechanical? They have transformed the way they do their farming. We are still in our subsistence farming, where we still use hoe and cutlasses to do a lot of things, where if there is no rain, we cannot plant. We only plant during rainy season. Irrigation is there. What are they doing with it? Is there any? We are not even developing our agricultural sector in terms of modern amenities and facilities to enhance the output and to get better yield. We are still doing the same thing what we have been doing since our great-grandfathers, and we expect better results. There's no way. Additionally noted that Africa holds 65% of the world's remaining uncultivated arable land, which is crucial for feeding an estimated 9.5 billion people by 2050. Therefore, what Africa does with agriculture will determine the future of food in the world. Essentially, food is money. Yes, food is money. With food, you generate a lot of income. Export, you get foreign exchange, and even locally, a lot of people will be empowered once they get farm produce from their farm to sell to those that will resell. The size of the food and agriculture market in Africa will reach 1 trillion by 2030, is stated. The federal government, through the Ministry of Agriculture, announced plans to allow duty-free importation of food items such as maize, rice paddy, and wheat for 150 days as part of measure towards stabilizing the prices of the items in the market. This move contradicts the earlier position of the presidency on food security, with President Tinubu stating that Nigeria will not import food but produce what it eats. And when water don't pass Gari, why will they not begin to import? However, the move to import food has drawn the eyes of farmers in particular. The president of the All Farmers Association of Nigeria, AFA, had earlier stated that food importation will erode the gains made in rice, maize, and wheat production, while the Rice Farmers Association of Nigeria, RIFAN, had also reacted to the policy by stating the federal government should encourage rice farmers rather than import. Food prices in the last year have skyrocketed in Nigeria, with food inflation just over 40%, pushing millions into poverty and hunger. An estimated 32 million people are expected to face severe hunger and malnutrition this year due to the crisis. Well, we pray that whatever thing that the government needs to do, they better do it, the earlier the better. Otherwise, an empty stomach, na katakata in the cause. When the people are hungry, there's no way they won't vent their anger on the government. Well, what is your opinion on what the African Development Bank president said about this waiver that the federal government gave on food importation? Should they be allowed? Should they continue? Or what should the government do? Kindly make your comment and subscribe to this channel. Thank you, good day, and God bless.